Nigeria has banned the export of raw gold, gemstones, and other solid minerals. Mines and Steel Development Minister Olamilekan Adegbite says the policy will avert the country's mistakes in the oil and gas sector. He describes the Federal Executive Council's approval of the ban as a milestone for the sector, saying it would go a long way in repositioning the sector.
Well, the Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Olamilekan Adegbite, joins us now. Glad to have you join us on News Night. Minister, just like you read a while ago there, what are the mistakes made in the oil and gas sector, and how does this relate with the downstream mineral policy that you brought on board and was signed just recently?
Well, I mean, quite basic. We export crude oil and then we import petroleum products. We get about 4 products or 5 products from that. Diesel, PMS, aviation fuel, kerosene. And all that. But from crude oil, there are over 200 products that comes from the crude oil. So we lose the rest to wherever we export the raw material to. By exporting raw materials out of this country, we lose the job, we lose the wealth. So as we're beginning to get traction in mining, I saw that gap, and it took us about 2 years because we had to consult with all stakeholders. Eventually, the policy was passed last year, 2021. Now it's illegal for you to export raw ore out of Nigeria, not just gold, just like you said, all minerals. We're encouraging investors who are not necessarily interested in mining itself, but as processors. We have
value chain.
Yeah, we have hubs where a set of people are around there, the mining a particular mineral. You can put your processing equipment there, and you process for them. Either to process for them for a fee, return to them, and they sell on, or you buy from them outright, you process and you sell. That's what we're encouraging. And government did something fantastic because we put our money where our mouth is. Government gave us a grant, post-COVID grant, and we used that grant to build 6 of these processing plants all over the country in the 6 regional centers. You know, in Bauchi, we have a kaolin processing plant. In Kano, we have a gold souk. We've trained people who will make the jewelry, and in Kano gold souk, going to rival all the souk all over the world. We want to put
including
it on
the Dubai gold souk.
Especially the Dubai gold souk. We want people to come to as a carnival, as an annual event, to come to Kano Gold Souk, and you can find all sorts of jewelry there. Nigerians, made by Nigerians, fantastic designs and all that. We've trained over 50 people now. We're training them in Abuja now. In southwest Nigeria, that's Ibadan, for the southwest region, we have a gemstone market where we've also trained people in cutting and faceting, where they cut and polish the stones. Yes, please flash your stone for them. When the stone comes out of the ground, you know, it's very rough, it's looking like a rough rock, and it attracts not much. You know, people buy it simply and then it's cheap. But when you cut it down and make it an object of beauty like this, you could sell it for 1,000 more for the price. So we built a gemstone market. We've done a barite plant in the south in Ogoja, and then we've done a lead plant in Ebonyi for the southeast. For the north central, we have a gold smelter. So we've done these 6 projects as a demonstration of that downstream policy.
So all of this built by government. I mean, these hubs that you talk about, and I'm wondering, how do you sustain, I mean, this kind of project with the limited resources, you know, that government continues to complain about? But even more importantly, you know, when you ban, it strengthens those who want to smuggle. What checks do you have in place to ensure that, you know, with this ban in place, it does not, you know, become another, you know, source of illicit money making by those who want to smuggle this,
you know,
precious metals?
I said it took us over 2 years before we got this policy passed. So it involved all stakeholders. It's to their own benefit. Look, if you got, like I told you, you got a rough stone, let's say emerald or topaz, and somebody comes to buy from you, you know, put it in bulk and say, just weigh it 1 kilo, I'll buy it for 10,000 naira. One of those stones you could sell for as high as maybe 1 million naira. if it is well cut and polished and like that. Just one of those. Because you take the rough stones and then you put them on a scale and weigh them and say, oh, I'm buying them for so much. But if you just take one of them, cut it into a nice shape and put it on a jewelry, you could sell that for 1,000 more times. Now, so this, we've convinced the people, it's to their own benefit.
Right.
And that's why I said, these people, oh, that's a stone they held up there. That was one of the things I was showing just now. It's to their own benefit. So even if you cannot do the processing yourself, you can pay a fee to somebody to process for you. You now have an object of higher value that you can now sell and make money. If you export raw lithium, you get about 60,000 naira per ton. If you process it, it's selling for about $20,000 per ton.
In a way.
So if you look at that, 20,000 to 60,000 naira, that's a lot of money. All you do in that middle is to process.
Right.
When you process, the value
But it's going to be, these hubs are
goes.
being funded by government. That's
No,
my
no,
point.
these are just demonstration centers.
What kind of enabling environment are you, creating to encourage local and foreign investors to buy in?
People are already doing that. That's what I'm saying.
Great.
What we've done, I say, it's more the demonstration centers, the possibility of what we're talking about. So we've done that, but other people are already coming in. People, there's this a tin smelter coming up in Plateau by the Indonesian. The Indonesian government has a private company for tin. They've obtained permission. They're going to put a tin smelter in Jos. This is part of downstream policy. When your tin comes out, it comes with a lot of impurity. But when you turn it into ingots, that is, you've gone through the furnace, you've taken out the impurity, you have your pure tin. It sells at a high value. So the process is to let even these people know who will otherwise have sold it as raw material. It's to their own benefit. If you process, you make more money.
But I want to add that good selling that you're doing, it sounds so sweet in your mouth, but how or in what way will this policy, because you mentioned stakeholders, particularly help the stakeholders really, really add value, to mineral deposits before exporting them? They would want to know that. We would want to know that because it's all about trading and making money.
Yeah. You see, the hard part is actually getting the minerals out of the ground. It does so much work. Now you sell for pittance. Somebody else will add value, beneficiation, and make all the money. Maybe 100, 1,000 times what you're making. What we're saying now is that we're encouraging investors to come in to do processing. And people already are taking on to that. People are coming in, putting their processing plant. So you don't want to do the dirty work. You don't want to bring the minerals out of the ground, the tedious work. So you put your processing plant there. And even without buying from people, just charging them a fee, you can make your own money.
Okay.
You bring whatever you have taken out of the ground, you bring to me, I'll process for you, I'll return to you, and then you sell. I get a fee, everybody's happy. Or if you're not interested, I can buy it off you. I process and I sell at a higher fee. But what we're doing essentially is to retain the value within the country.
Right.
We retain the value, we retain the wealth, and we create jobs for our people.
But there's a big challenge. There seems to be a nexus between mining, or illegal mining if you like, and insecurity. Some say, what you find in Zamfara State, for example, Elisha in Osun State and other parts of the country where you have this mineral resource, it is clear that, terrorists or bandits operate within those axes. How are you dealing with this to ensure that you give confidence to those who want to buy in?
Well, just like I said, there's a lot of negative news there, but it's not all true.
Okay.
Because you see, you just mentioned Osun State, for instance. Yeah, there are a lot of artisanal miners, maybe a few illegal miners in Osun, but banditry is not part of it. We found that in Zamfara, where you had the bandits working on the back of these people, the artisanal miners, and of course, gold converts to money easily. They were using that, to fuel that. And that's why government placed a complete ban on mining in Zamfara. Zamfara is the only state now where mining is not allowed, at least legally. And we monitor it, even, to make sure that it doesn't happen illegally as well.
How much difference has the ban made since it was in place?
Oh yeah, quite a big difference. The restiveness has gone down, because, you get gold, it converts to money easily, and then you can use that for your nefarious activity. But with the ban now, You can't do it with reckless abandon as it used to be. Even if you want to do it, you have to be more circumspect.
All right, you talked about losing jobs to other nations. Can you give us, if you like, graphically, an idea, picture, how many jobs this will probably create, or keep? Because you talked about also losing jobs outside the nation.
No, create jobs, millions of jobs. You see, the more of the processing centers we have, the more jobs you're going to create. For instance, we've trained people now, 50 people to be precise, and we're training more. There's a third set at the
across the country.
Yeah, we are training them in Abuja. We pick them across the country. The whole essence is that these people will go back to their state and train more people. So we're sort of training the trainers. In that alone, for the jewelry and the gemstones, it's going to employ a lot of people, because you see, there's a process. Those who will do the metals, whether it's gold, whether it's silver, a lot of employment in that process. Those who will do the stones, cut it, polish it, and then put it together and market it. In that, you also have people who do the designs. Right. The designs are computer generated and all that. So it's a whole value chain, and it's creating these jobs wherever this happens.
How are you going to fight abuse of labor?
Which you find in
this case, it's not going to be any abuse, because most of these were entrepreneurs on their own. So they're not being employed. That's why we are training people to own their own business. Yeah, you train somebody. On the 6th of December, you invited a rise at the Women Development Center here. We're going to be giving out starter packs to the 50 people we have trained. They've graduated, they got the certificates. It's a 9-month course. We're going to give them starter packs to go and start their work. So you're an entrepreneur on your own. So within your own space, you can begin to manufacture things, and you know the value of what you're doing. So nobody's going to cheat you. There's no exploitation of labor in that.
That's fantastic.
We're trying to encourage entrepreneurship rather than people being employed.
Mr. Minister, let's talk about the steel development component of your ministry. I mean, we cannot talk about development in Nigeria without talking about steel development. Why does the Ajaokuta steel complex or plant continue to remain moribund and a money guzzler? We heard from the former minister, that about $8 billion had been pumped into Ajaokuta and still remains comatose. What exactly is happening in that sector to revive?
Let's be careful how we bandy figures, because some will say...
I'm not banding figures. Even the federal government actually came up with this
figure. In this sector, I represent the federal government here.
Exactly.
And I can tell you the figures.
Fantastic.
So there's nothing near 8 billion. Some will speculate Ajaokuta has cost us $3-4 billion. Sincerely, we don't have the exact figure, but nothing near 8 billion. But even that, it's a good investment. And the reason people will say why people are still in Ajaokuta and why we are able to talk about Ajaokuta now is because we've kept people there. Government has,
and it's costing government.
Yeah, it costs government. But you see, the investment is worth it. When I came to office, the first thing I questioned, I was sworn in 2019 August, and the first thing I said, look, why are these people taking money? They're not producing anything. I went there, and you see, you will be hard when you go to Ajaokuta. It's a massive complex. The steel territory is bigger than Abuja, the FCT, about 3 times.
Wow.
They've got housing estates that will employ house about 10,000 engineers. When Ajaokuta is in full production, it will employ 10,000 engineers. They've got housing estates, world class, with country club, swimming pool and all that. All these are there. For you to keep these facilities alive, you need people there. You can imagine if we abandon the whole of that city because, okay, Ajaokuta is not producing, everybody go home. You won't meet a single metal there. You know what our people do?
Yeah, but
even with the crash railing,
the objective of setting up that plant is not being achieved.
No, you see, yes, it's not being achieved because it's a work in progress. Yes, we made mistakes in the past and all that, but people being there, they've kept the machines alive. If you come to Ajaokuta tomorrow, they will do a dry run for you. If not for these people who lubricate the service at the right time, the machine is metal. Everything will have rusted, and then, it will say Ajaokuta is done.
When will Nigeria achieve steel sufficiency? Or at least not sufficient?
We have started a process. Okay. I've said this story so many times, so I'm just want to be repeating it. We went to Russia in 2019, Russian African Summit. I went with President Muhammadu Buhari, and we got the Russians to support us to put Ajaokuta right. That process was on. We were going to do a technical audit, then COVID came. That is force majeure. Nobody expected that. We had COVID 2021. Now we have started a process where we have employed a transaction advisor approved by FEC. The Federal Executive Council has approved. A transaction advisor is in place now. We have people who have shown interest in Nigeria. There are about 8 of them now. 5 foreign, 3 local, who have submitted unsolicited. Now, this transaction advisor is working with the ICRC. That's the Infrastructure Concession Body. They are working together so that even before President Muhammadu Buhari will leave office, we will hand over Jakarta to somebody on an equity basis. Not what the mistake we've made in the past. The mistake in the past that they're giving somebody a free lunch, come and manage Jakarta for so many years and all that, and we got burnt. We got our fingers burnt. But we're going the right path this time. And
concession? Did you say concession?
That's what we did in the past. We're not doing concession anymore.
Before we let you,
no, it's a sort of PPP that we're going into now.
Before we let you go, you only, for now you have 6 demonstration centers in the 6 regions of the nation. How are you intending going forward to increase it?
Well, like I said, these are demonstration centers.
Yeah, like you said.
It's actually to show the way for private sector. Okay. So we don't want to dominate the space.
Okay, so the private sector you're expecting to come in and
they're coming in, they're expanding it. I've told you about that's one of the biggest investment that's coming to the plateau. It's this company that's owned by the Indonesian government. Though they come in as corporate, they're coming to do a smeltering jobs. We have other people that are doing things like that in Abuja here. We have Segilola in Ilesha. They are producing gold already. They're exporting gold out of Nigeria. For the first time, we've had a company paying 1 billion naira as royalty within 3 months. It's never happened before.
I don't know how you want to manage foreign investors and Nigerian investors so the foreign ones don't rip off the Nigerian ones. I don't know how you want to manage that.
You see, there is nothing like ripping off. Nigerians are very savvy when it comes to business. I think it won't be the other way around. Nobody will come to Nigeria and rip Nigerians off. Nigerians are savvy enough, and then we bring a lot of awareness locally.
Great.
To actually we call it road shows. We've done in every region in this country to actually tell Nigerians about the possibilities and the investment opportunity that is a
huge possibilities. They asked you how many jobs are expected to be created. But I'm interested in how much will Nigeria be making out of this on an annual basis? Is there a rough idea?
I just told you. Well, you see, one company.
I didn't hear.
Yes, I told you. Segilola Gold Resources, which is being done by a Canadian company, Toy Exploration, in Osun State. We need more of Segilola in Nigeria. Organized sector. They've paid the royalty of 1 billion naira within a space of 3 months. That is, now, these are the people we need to suffuse the sector. The more of these people that you have, they pay royalty, they do the things that are right. These illegal people will not pay. Artisanal people, we're trying to bring them into the system so they can pay royalty. But we have these juniors, the minors, or the middle-level miners. When they come into the space, they do things properly. And they will pay their royalty. And more are coming. A British firm just coming to Abuja in Babasauni here. They are mining gold. That's another Segilola in the making. And it's all over the place. There's multiverse. I don't want to be advertising companies, but they're already there in Nasarawa, in all over here. They are beginning to do the right thing, and they are paying their royalty. So Nigeria is on its part of steady progress.
Great.
And in a few years, mining will gain substantial ground, and then it will become recognized as a revenue earner for the country.
We'll hold you to your words.
Yes,
thank you so much.
I wish you the best.
Thank you so much.
Olamilekan Adegbite is Minister of Mines and Steel Development. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, madam.